The first time I kissed a girl, it wasn't some dreamy teenage fantasy. It was reckless, desperate, and so wildly inappropriate that even now, 10 years later, I still can't figure out if it was the bravest or dumbest thing I've ever done. Her name was Natalie, my best friend, the girl who used to braid my hair before soccer games, and who once gave me half her allowance just so I could buy a prom dress I couldn't afford. The night of the kiss, we were sitting in her room with the window cracked open, the sound of cicadas buzzing like some invisible warning. We were supposed to be studying for finals. Instead, I leaned in, pressed my lips against hers, and shattered everything. Natalie pulled back like I had just burned her. "What the hell, Emma?" she had whispered, her eyes wide and searching, her voice a mixture of fear and something else I couldn't name. I laughed. That stupid, hollow kind of laugh you give when your chest is caving in. It was a joke. God, relax. But it wasn't. It had never been. And the look on her face told me she knew. I carried the weight of that night like a scar no one else could see. Years passed and I convinced myself I had buried it. That kiss was just a slip, a crack in my teenage confusion. I went to college, moved to a different city, dated men who looked good on paper but never made me feel alive. I told myself I was normal, that whatever had happened in Natalie's bedroom was just an accident of hormones. And then I saw her. Not Natalie, but her. The woman on stage, bathed in light and shadows, her voice raw enough to scrape the deepest parts of me. Her name was Harper Vale, the lead singer of a small indie band playing at a dingy bar in downtown Chicago. The moment she sang, I felt that same terrifying pull I had felt all those years ago with Natalie, but magnified, sharpened, undeniable. Harper was everything I wasn't. She was unapologetic. Tattoos creeping up her arm like wildfire, eyeliner smudged from sweat, hair a dark storm that refused to be tamed. She sang about heartbreak like she'd swallowed it, about love like it was oxygen, about pain like it was art. And there I was, standing in the crowd, clutching a lukewarm beer, feeling my carefully constructed life crumble just from the way she looked at the microphone. The second her eyes found mine through the haze of stage lights, I forgot how to breathe. I didn't plan on seeing her again. I thought it would be one of those fleeting, dangerous moments you carry secretly, like a spark you don't dare feed. But the universe, or maybe fate, or maybe just my own stupid heart, had other plans. A week later, I was walking down Halsted Street when I heard someone call out, "Hey, girl with the sad eyes." I turned, confused, only to see Harper leaning against a wall outside a record store, cigarette dangling between her fingers. My first instinct was to run, to pretend I hadn't heard her. But her grin was magnetic, pulling me in like a tide I couldn't fight. "You were at the show," she said, blowing smoke into the air like punctuation. I nodded, awkward. "Yeah, you were. Good. Good." She laughed, the kind of laugh that could crack open rib cages. "That's all I get? Good. I don't hand out compliments easily," I shot back, surprising myself. Her grin widened. "Oh, I like you." And just like that, I was caught. But falling for Harper wasn't like falling for Natalie. Natalie was safety. Harper was chaos. Natalie had been my best friend, my soft place to land. Harper was a storm, and every time she touched me, I felt like I was clinging to lightning. She dragged me into her world, late-night jam sessions in cramped basements, greasy diner runs at 2 in the morning, arguments that sparked like fire, and kisses that burned even hotter. She was wild, unpredictable, and alive in ways I had never dared to be. And yet, she also terrified me. Because with Harper there was no pretending. No hiding behind excuses or masks. She looked at me like she could see the truth I had spent years burying. I wanted women. I wanted her. But wanting her came with consequences. The more I fell, the more the past clawed its way back. Natalie's face, her rejection, the years of silence between us, they haunted me. I couldn't shake the thought that maybe I was doomed to ruin every woman I touched. One night after a show, Harper pulled me outside, her voice hoarse, her eyes fierce. "Why do you always look at me like you're scared to want me?" I froze. She had cornered me in a way no one ever had. "I'm not scared," I lied. Her hand cupped my cheek, thumb brushing over my skin. "Yeah, you are. But you should know I'm not Natalie. And I'm not gonna run from you." The name dropped like a bomb between us. I hadn't told her about Natalie. I hadn't told anyone. My silence was all the confession she needed. "Emma," Harper whispered, softer now, her forehead pressing against mine. You can't keep punishing yourself for one kiss you gave years ago. You're allowed to want. You're allowed to love. Even me. Her words gutted me, because for the first time I realized she might be right. And yet, nothing about us was simple. Harper's band was on the verge of breaking out, record deals hovering like promises just out of reach. Her world was chaos, always moving, always loud. Mine was quiet, structured, predictable. The more we collided, the more it hurt. But love isn't about comfort. It's about the fire you're willing to burn for. And God help me, I was already burning. The thing about Harper was this. She demanded all of you. Not in a cruel way, not in the way some people strip you down and leave you hollow. No. She demanded your honesty, your presence, your rawest, most unpolished truths. When she looked at me, it was as though she was saying, don't bother pretending, I see right through you. And maybe that was why I couldn't stop going back to her. We weren't officially anything, at least not in the beginning. I wasn't her girlfriend and she wasn't mine. We were something in between, lovers tangled in the dark, confidants trading secrets over cold coffee at dawn, two souls pretending not to need each other while clinging with white knuckles. But every moment with her pulled me deeper. I started showing up at every show, no matter how small or grimy the venue. I learned the names of the band members: Dylan on drums, a sarcastic but loyal guy, Mia on bass, quiet but fierce, and Eli on guitar, always cracking jokes to diffuse Harper's volcanic moods. They all accepted me, maybe because Harper did, maybe because they could see I wasn't just another fling. Yet I could never shake the shadow of Natalie. The guilt of that night, the silence that followed, the way my heart still clenched whenever her name slipped into my mind, it all lingered, poisoning the sweetness of what I had with Harper. I told myself it was ancient history, but memory has teeth, and it bites when you least expect it. One night after a show, Harper invited me back to the band's apartment. It was cramped, walls plastered with posters, the air thick with the scent of beer and guitar strings. She dragged me into her room, which was even smaller. Barely enough space for a mattress on the floor and stacks of lyric notebooks spilling across every surface. She collapsed onto the bed, tugging me down beside her. You know what's funny? She said, her voice husky from singing. What? You look like someone who's spent her whole life running from herself. And yet here you are in my bed with me. I swallowed, tracing the ink on her arm, delicate roses, sharp lines of broken glass, words in a language I didn't understand. Maybe I stopped running. Maybe, she whispered, her lips brushing my jaw. Or maybe you're just resting before you bolt again. The thing about Harper, she was rarely wrong. I wanted to tell her she had nothing to worry about, that I wasn't going anywhere. But the truth was I didn't know. My heart was a battlefield, and some part of me still felt chained to the ghost of Natalie. That night Harper kissed me until I forgot my own name, until every thought was drowned out by the rhythm of her body against mine. But when I fell asleep in her arms, my dreams were haunted by the girl I had left behind. Life with Harper was a whirlwind. She'd wake me at 3 a.m. with a new lyric idea, dragging me out of bed to scribble on napkins. She'd call me to the studio and shove a microphone in my hand, daring me to sing harmonies even though my voice trembled. She'd pick fights with strangers in bars just because she hated injustice, and then kiss me breathless in the alley afterward as if the world could never touch us. I should have been terrified. Instead, I felt alive. But storms don't last forever. One evening, Harper's band was invited to play at a larger venue, real opportunity, the kind that could change everything. I sat in the crowd, heart hammering with pride as she lit up the stage. Her voice was raw, her energy electric, the audience completely under her spell. And then I saw her, Natalie, standing near the back of the room, her hair longer now, her smile uncertain. But it was her. My Natalie. My past crashing into my present. The air left my lungs. I tried to look away, to focus on Harper, but my eyes betrayed me. Natalie's gaze found mine across the room, and for a split second the years fell away. It was just us again, two girls in a bedroom, cicadas buzzing outside, a kiss that broke everything. Harper noticed. She always noticed. After the show, Harper was electric, buzzing with adrenaline. She kissed me hard, tasting of sweat and whiskey. Did you see them, Emma? Did you see how they loved us tonight? I nodded, forcing a smile. But she caught the flicker in my eyes. What's wrong? Nothing, I lied. She studied me, her gaze sharp. You're a terrible liar. I tried to deflect, tried to drown her questions in another kiss. But Harper wasn't the kind of woman you could distract. Later, when we were alone, she pinned me with a stare that felt like being stripped bare. Who was she? I froze. What are you talking about? The blonde in the back. The way you looked at her, it wasn't nothing. Don't insult me by pretending it was. My chest caved in. She's someone from my past. Harper's jaw tightened. Someone or the one? I wanted to deny it. I wanted to tell her Natalie meant nothing now, that she was just a ghost. But ghosts have power and Harper could feel it. She was my best friend, I whispered. And my first kiss. Harper's silence was louder than any scream. When she finally spoke, her voice cracked. So that's what this is. That's why you flinch every time I get too close. You're still in love with her. No, I said too quickly. It's not like that. Then what is it? I opened my mouth but no words came. Because the truth was tangled and ugly. I wasn't in love with Natalie, not anymore. But she was the wound that had never healed. The ghost that whispered I would never deserve happiness. And Harper? She was the one daring me to believe otherwise. But how do you hold on to someone when your past is clawing at you with bloody hands? That night, Harper didn't kiss me goodnight. She didn't touch me at all. She just turned away, her back a wall I couldn't climb. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, knowing I was about to lose the only thing that had ever made me feel truly alive. And the cruelest part? It wasn't Harper I dreamed of. It was Natalie, her laugh, her rejection. Her ghost still curled up inside me like a thorn. The next day, I found myself wandering the streets until I landed in front of a coffee shop. And there she was. Natalie. Sitting by the window, as if the universe was determined to tear me apart. She looked up and our eyes locked. For the first time in a decade, she smiled at me. And I knew my life was about to unravel. I should have walked away. The sane thing, the logical thing, would have been to pretend I hadn't seen her. To keep moving, to protect what I had with Harper before it cracked completely. But sanity and logic had never stood a chance against Natalie. Her smile was tentative, like she didn't quite believe I'd come over. But my feet moved before I could stop them, carrying me across the sidewalk and into the coffee shop where time had folded in on itself. Emma, she breathed, my name trembling on her lips. God, hearing her voice again was like pressing on a bruise I thought had healed. Painful, sharp, but impossible to ignore. Natalie, I managed, my throat dry. For a long moment we just stared at each other, the years hanging between us like barbed wire. Then she gestured to the empty chair across from her. Sit. I shouldn't have. I did anyway. Close, she looked older, of course. Softer around the edges, but her eyes, the same honey brown that once held my entire world, still had the power to undo me. I didn't think you'd recognize me, she said, fiddling with her cup. I'd know you anywhere, I admitted before I could stop myself. Her lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. It's been, 10 years? Almost. Silence stretched, filled only by the hiss of the espresso machine and the low murmur of strangers. Finally she sighed. Emma, about that night, my chest tightened. Don't. No, I need to. Her gaze sharpened, pinning me the way it used to when we were kids. I was scared. You kissed me and it felt like something I wasn't ready to understand. I pulled away and then I shut you out. I hurt you. I laughed, bitter and broken. You think. Her eyes softened. I'm sorry. 2 words. 10 years too late. But instead of anger, what I felt was exhaustion. A bone-deep tiredness from carrying her ghost for so long. I don't know what you want me to say, I murmured. Nothing. I wanted you to know I never hated you. I hated myself, maybe. But not you. Her words hit me like a sucker punch. For years I'd replayed that night, twisting it into proof that I was unworthy, unnatural, unlovable. And here she was, unraveling the lie in a single breath. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from Harper. Where are you? My stomach dropped. Natalie noticed. Girlfriend. I hesitated. Then quietly, something like that. Her smile faltered, but she nodded. Good. You deserve someone. The words were meant to free me, but instead they chained me tighter. Because in that moment, I realized something terrifying. Harper wasn't just someone. She was everything. And if I didn't face the wreckage of Natalie, I was going to lose her. That night, I told Harper the truth. We sat on her bed, the glow of city lights bleeding through the blinds. She was strumming her guitar absent-mindedly, her expression distant. I saw her today, I confessed. Her fingers froze on the strings. Natalie. Yes. Her jaw clenched, but she didn't look at me. And she apologized. Said she was scared back then. That she never hated me. Silence. Heavy, suffocating. Finally, Harper set the guitar down and turned to me, her eyes like storm clouds. And what does that mean for us? I shook my head quickly. Nothing. It means nothing. I don't want her, Harper. I want you. Then why do you look like you're about to cry? Because the truth was messy. Because Natalie's apology had cracked open a door I'd kept locked for a decade. And the air rushing out was toxic. Because even if I didn't want her anymore, part of me would always bleed for what we lost. But I couldn't say that. Not without breaking Harper. So I reached for her hand, gripping it tight. I'm scared, Harper. That's all. Scared of ruining this. Scared of not being enough. Her expression softened, pain flickering across her features. She pulled me into her arms, her voice rough against my hair. You're enough. God, Emma, you're more than enough. But I can't fight a ghost. I won't. I don't want you to, I whispered. Then prove it. Her challenge hung between us, electric. Prove it. Prove that I wasn't chained to the past. Prove that she was the one I chose fully, completely. I kissed her then, desperate and raw, trying to pour every unspoken truth into her mouth. But when she kissed me back, I felt the edge of doubt lingering. The following week, Harper's band got their big break-in invitation to open for a rising star on tour. It was the kind of opportunity they'd been dreaming of, the kind that could launch them into the spotlight. She told me over greasy fries at a diner, her eyes sparkling. We're leaving in 2 weeks. A whole month on the road. My stomach twisted. That's amazing. You'll come with me, right? I froze. Leave my job, my life, everything? The thought terrified me. But so did the idea of being without her. I don't know if I can. Her smile dimmed. Emma. I want to, I rushed. I do. But it's complicated. Her jaw tightened. It's always complicated with you. The words cut deeper than I expected. Because she was right. With Harper, everything should have been simple. Want love, leap. But I was still tangled in my own fear. Still dragging chains from a past that refused to die. A few nights later, fate twisted the knife. The band was playing another show, and I spotted Natalie again, this time closer. Her eyes locked on me from across the room. Afterward, she found me by the bar. Emma, can we talk? I shook my head. This isn't a good idea. Please. Her voice cracked, and against my better judgment, I followed her outside. The night was cool, the city humming around us. Natalie shoved her hands in her pockets, her shoulders tense. I need you to know I'm proud of you, she said. You've become someone strong, someone brave. And I never stopped thinking about you. My heart lurched. Natalie, I'm not saying this to mess things up. If you ever wondered, I did care. I still do. The words dangled between us, dangerous. And that was the moment Harper walked out, her eyes finding us like a predator in the dark. The look on her face, betrayal, fury, heartbreak, was enough to make me crumble. Unbelievable, she muttered, her voice low but lethal. I should have known. Harper, it's not. Save it, Emma. Her eyes shimmered with unshed tears, but her voice was ice. You already made your choice. Then she turned and walked away, leaving me gasping in the ruins. I wanted to chase her. God, I wanted to run after her, to fall at her feet and beg her to believe me. But my legs wouldn't move. I just stood there shaking while Natalie reached for my arm. Emma, I jerked away. Don't. You don't get to do this. Not now. Her face crumpled. I'm sorry. But sorry wasn't enough. Not for 10 years of silence. Not for the woman I loved storming away because of a ghost I hadn't laid to rest. I left Natalie standing there, and for the first time in years, I felt nothing but anger toward her. But the damage was done. Harper was gone. Harper stopped answering my texts. 3 days. 3 long, gutting days of silence. I called, left voicemails, Even showed up outside the apartment she shared with her bandmates, but she didn't come to the door. Dylan did, his expression pitying. She needs space, he told me gently. She feels betrayed. I didn't do anything, I said, desperation leaking through my voice. Doesn't matter, he replied. What matters is how it looked. And right now it looks like you're stuck between two women. I wanted to scream that I wasn't stuck, that Harper was the only one I wanted, the only one who made me feel alive. But screaming wouldn't change the fact that I had let Natalie's ghost wedge itself between us. For the first time in years I cried. Not the quiet tears I'd shed in the privacy of my apartment after bad dates or lonely holidays. No, this was full-body grief, the kind that left me gasping on the floor, clutching my chest as though I could hold my heart together with my bare hands. On the fourth day, I went back to that same coffee shop where I'd seen Natalie. And of course she was there. As if the universe hadn't already twisted the knife deep enough. She looked up, guilt flashing in her eyes. Emma, I held up a hand. Don't. Please. I can't do this with you anymore. She swallowed, looking down at her cup. I didn't mean to ruin things. I just wanted you to know how I felt. 10 years too late, I snapped. Then softer. I loved you, Natalie. And you broke me. You don't get to come back now and take more. Her eyes shimmered, but I stood before she could say anything else. Walking away from her felt like peeling off a scab, painful. Raw, but underneath, I could finally see the wound healing. It wasn't Natalie I wanted. It had never been about her. It was Harper. Always Harper. That night, Harper's band had another show. I knew she didn't want to see me, but I couldn't stay away. I stood at the back of the room, watching her pour her soul into every lyric, every note. She looked fierce and untouchable, her voice raw enough to strip paint from the walls. And then she sang a new song, one I had never heard before. The words cut straight through me, about betrayal, about ghosts that cling, about loving someone who won't let themselves be loved. My knees nearly buckled, because the song was about me. When the set ended, I pushed through the crowd until I reached the stage door. Mia tried to block me, but I begged, my voice breaking. Please. Just let me talk to her. One last time. Something in her eyes softened, and she stepped aside. I found Harper in the dressing room, towel around her neck, eyeliner smudged. She looked up, and the pain in her eyes nearly destroyed me. You shouldn't be here, she said flatly. I know, I whispered. But I can't let it end like this. She turned away, busying herself with packing up her guitar. Emma, I don't have the energy for this. You made your choice. No. That's the thing. My voice cracked. I didn't choose her. I never would. She's my past, Harper. A scar. You're my future. Don't you get it? I've been carrying her ghost for so long I forgot what it felt like to be alive. But then you made me remember. She froze, her shoulders trembling. I'm sorry I let her come between us, I said, tears spilling freely. But I'm not going to let her take this from me. From us. Not again. Finally she turned. Her eyes were wet, her jaw tight. Do you even know what you're asking, Emma? To be with me means chaos. Noise. Uncertainty. I'm not safe like she was. I'll never be safe. I stepped closer, heart pounding. I don't want safe. I want real. I want you. Silence. Heavy, electric. And then Harper closed the distance, crashing her mouth onto mine with a desperation that nearly lifted me off the ground. Her kiss tasted of salt and rage and forgiveness, and I kissed her back like my life depended on it. Because it did. We stumbled into each other's arms, laughter and tears tangling together. When she finally pulled back, her voice was raw. You break my heart, Emma, she whispered. I'll spend the rest of my life putting it back together, I promised. Her smile, small, shaky, but real, was enough to tell me she believed me. 2 weeks later I quit my job, packed a bag, climbed onto the band's van, wedged between amplifiers and battered suitcases, and hit the road with Harper and her chaos. The first night, as the van hummed along an empty highway, Harper reached for my hand in the dark. She didn't say anything, didn't need to. Her thumb brushed over my skin, grounding me, claiming me, forgiving me. I leaned my head on her shoulder, the stars outside blurring through the window, and for the first time in years I felt free. Natalie would always be a part of my story, but Harper was my song, and I was ready to sing. Months later, I stood at the edge of a stage, watching Harper command an audience of hundreds. Her voice soared, fierce and untamed, and I thought back to that first night I saw her, how she had cracked me open with a single look. Now she glanced at me mid-chorus, her eyes blazing, her smile curving just for me. In that moment I knew. This wasn't just love. This was destiny. And for once in my life I wasn't running from it. I was running toward it. The final lyric of her song echoed through the crowd, and the applause thundered. She bowed, then blew me a kiss. Caught it, pressed it to my heart, and smiled. Because I had finally stopped chasing ghosts. Because I had finally chosen her. Because love, real, messy, terrifying, magnificent love, was mine. Ours. Forever. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.